What's up, guys? I'm here in Oak Ridge, Tennessee still, enjoying this nice, warm, 77-degree weather before I head back to Minnesota tomorrow. Tonight, I'm going back to Cincinnati. Or not back to Cincinnati. I flew into Knoxville, but I'm going to Cincinnati. Flying home from there because it's way cheaper. So, thankfully, Tim Lewis is letting me ride with him. Anyways, so just gonna go over the round robin. And spoiler alert, if you haven't seen it, I will give you spoilers. I mean, why would you be watching this if you haven't seen it though? But people on YouTube, you know. I won't remember everything. I'm not going to go over the whole thing, but if you do want to watch it, the live stream's on 217 YouTube channel. You can rewatch the stream. Left-handed, so obviously I always want to win, that's a given. But realistically, like top 5, I felt like would have been a good achievement for me. I was like, what, second to last. Like I think there were like 3 guys tied for last, and then me and one other guy tied for next to last. So, so I guess the bottom 3 guys were tied for 10th, 11th, and 12th, and I was tied for 8th and 9th. So I was like 8.5 place left hand basically. And then right, I tied for second to last. So I was like, there was one guy that took 12th, and then I tied for 10th and 11th with the right. Which, you know, I don't know. These guys are really strong, stronger than I thought. My very first match left was against Zach Lee, who beat me last year in June, fresh for fresh, first round of the tournament. We met again, fresh for fresh, first round of the tournament. And to be honest, before the start, he was like over my knuckle and loading back, almost pulling me off center. But when I said something to the refs about it, they were just like, "You're in the ref script, guys." So I said, well, one of us should get a warning then or something. But, so I wasn't comfortable in the grip at all, but I stopped him fairly low to the pad, and it wasn't hard to bring him back in the hook. So that was my first win, and I'm like, wow, if I can beat, like, no offense to Zach, but I think he was a little bit off his game today, if I'm being honest. But I'm like, if I could beat Zach that easy, maybe, like, I wasn't sure how I felt going into this, to be honest, but I was like, if I could beat Zach that easy, maybe I'm actually really strong right now. Then my second match was against Devin Bear, who was super strong. He plowed through me. My third match was against Dalton Duncan, and from what happened at Strongest Badge 2.5 years ago, I knew that I had to go to the straps with him, so I asked him to start in the straps, and he agreed. But he definitely got stronger. He blasted me. He felt really strong. I did try to top roll him, and he was surprised about that. And yes, I did try to top roll him because I've only pulled him once before, but from my experience, he's really hard to turn into a hook. So I almost thought like you have to top roll him because you can't turn him in the hook. But in hindsight, also given his surprise that I tried to roll him, I probably should have tried to hook him. My wrist is definitely a lot stronger than it was in 2021, so maybe I could have got him in the hook. Like, I can't say that I would have. Either way, he felt incredibly strong. Definitely stronger than he felt before. And honestly, I memorized my first 3 matches. I can't remember all my other ones, what order they were in, but there were 3 guys that I lost to that I felt like even though I got 8.5 place with the left, I only had 3 wins. I was close to winning 3 more, in my opinion. So I was close to being in the top 6, because if I'd got 6 wins, I would have been in the top 6 and got money. The 3 I was close with were Dusty Hyatt, and granted, he is injured, but I had him like this close to the pad on the go, and he stopped me in the hook. I tried to roll him because I heard his wrist was injured, so of course I'm going to try to roll. And I had him like this close. I'd have to watch the video. People told me it was real close, but he stopped me in the hook and started to bring me back, and I elbow followed on purpose to get a restart because, to be honest, like, I'm not going to beat him in the hook war, at least not in the position I was in. He was way tighter, and I was opened up as per usual left-handed. For some reason, my arm won't stay in a tight angle like I want it to. I don't know what the solution to that is, but it's been a kryptonite of mine my whole arm wrestling career, is I get opened up. I don't try to get opened up, but for some reason I do. I don't know why. And then on the restart, he stopped me a little bit sooner, and I did hold him in the hook for a few seconds, but he pinned me. So that was one that was close that I lost. And another one that I think was close was Alexander Koshadze from Canada, a really strong guy. I can't prove any of this is my opinion, but like I feel like I know if I could have turned him in the hook, I would have beat him, but I knew before that it was really hard to turn him in the hook. He was a master at keeping hookers out of the hook. And but I knew if I could get him in the hook, I would beat him. And historically, I'm really hard to top roll, so I just took my chances and tried to hook him without the straps. And he took me right over. But I could be wrong, but I felt like I was close to stopping him, even though the match was over quick. And in hindsight, I should have top rolled him and probably would have slipped and probably would have got straps. And maybe in the straps I could have beat him. I'm not saying I could have, but maybe. That would have been a better game plan anyway. So that's one I'd like to do over. But whether I could be in the rematch or not doesn't really matter, because he beat me fair and square. And he's also only 18 years old. So if we do meet up in like, say, 6 months or a year, like theoretically he'll probably have progressed significantly more than me since then, so it won't matter probably. Like maybe you never know on any given day, anything can happen. But that's one that even though I lost quick, I feel like was the potential to win was there. And then my third loss was the very last match against George Whitfield. He had lost to a guy I beat, Colton Kimbrough, so I thought that he was done and I could probably beat him, but I should have rolled a lot harder. Probably shouldn't have went to straps either in hindsight. I went to straps because Colton beat him in straps, so I thought I could too. But he turned me in the hook, and his hook's really strong. He's a really just brute strong guy, and that was probably my hardest match. The very last match, it was a grinder, but he beat me. I held him and held him and held him near the pin pad, and finally I just couldn't anymore. So if I would have beat him, I would have got, I think, a couple spots higher, but that was definitely my closest match that I lost. And Dusty, since I almost flashed him. But I pulled Justin Bishop, and I thought I put him in the hook, but I guess he hooked me because he felt like he wasn't going to be able to take my hand in the grip we were in. And like, I held him for a couple seconds, but yeah, he felt pretty strong. And he ended up taking second, Justin did. First place was Eli Saidov. I pulled him second to last, if I remember correctly, and he smashed me. I don't think anyone's beaten that guy left-handed in the USA, under 176, left-handed. For sure not in the hook. His hook is for sure world class. There's no question about it. I already knew that anyway, though, but I thought some guys might be able to top roll him. I thought once he got top rolled once, usually once you lose your wrist once, you lose it again and again. And, but he never lost his wrist. He felt really strong. He was really quick, really strong. He went through everyone pretty easily from what I saw. I thought Jeremy Fraley would be one of the favorites, left-handed, top 2, top 3, maybe even first. I thought between Fraley and Saidov, to be honest, was my opinion, my honest opinion. But Fraley took 4th. He got top rolled quickly by Devin Bear and then lost to Bishop later on. 5th place, if I remember correctly, was, I can't remember, it might have been Alex, to be honest, because I'm pretty sure 6th place was Dusty and then Dalton Duncan, but I can't remember for sure. And even though Dusty has an injury left, he still looked pretty strong. He was in there with Justin Bishop. It was close, fresh, and he held Bear, but near the pad, and after a few seconds, Bear beat him. Let's see, I think, I can't remember for sure, but I think Bear and Bishop were really close, but Bishop won, so that was 2nd for Bishop and 3rd for Bear. So those are just some left-hand results. So I also beat Chance Holiday from Utah. He felt pretty strong. He got the hit on me and had me like over here a little bit, just a little bit, but right away I started to bring him back, and then I didn't try to roll him, but his wrist went, and he said something popped in his elbow, and he slipped like pretty much at the pin pad. I don't know if the official call was a loss or an intentional slip in losing position, but it was like right there if it wasn't the pin in my memory. And then my other one was Colton Kimbrough, who stepped in last minute only 2 days ago for Cole Casper and pulled a super match last night. And he was pretty easy for me to beat, but he's strong for sure. So yeah, those are left hand. And then right hand, I wasn't going to do right hand, but I stepped in last minute for Tevis. So on Wednesday or whatever, I stepped in. My right's not like, it's not terrible, but it's a lot weaker than my left. And off and on, probably since December or January, I've been having pain. Sorry, I can't really hold the phone, but like in my breaker radialis, so it's hard to top roll. When it hurts, it's not injured, I don't think. I think it's more of just like a overuse injury, maybe. Not injury, but like not like a serious injury, but just like a minor nagging pain, I guess, that I've had off and on. So I went to the Dominican Republic about a little over a month ago, and it kind of healed when I was there because I took a week off the table. Like, so it was 2 weeks between practices and no heavy weightlifting in between with my right. But after a couple practices, it started hurting again. So it felt fine going in, but I knew if it started hurting, I wouldn't be able to top roll anymore. But actually, and another thing with my right, like with round robins, I know I'm kind of rambling, but I'm trying to get my thoughts together and not make this too long. But with round robins, if you're a level below everybody else, or even a level below, like maybe there's 1 or 2 guys on your level, but you're a level below the majority, it's possible you could lose fast a few matches, and then other people get in wars, and then since you lost fast, you end up beating guys that you could never have beat fresh. Possibly. Or you could get flashed and get hurt. But usually if you get flashed, you're definitely expending less energy unless you get hurt. So my first match was against Zach Lee, who he's the only guy I placed above. But he smashed me, and it wasn't like he was just too quick. Like, I went and he just smashed me. And I guess I was somewhat strong, because I guess I didn't know what match he got hurt in, but I guess that was the match where he felt a pop or tear in his elbow, and after that he had to lay down his other ones. I think he tried to pull a couple of them, but then maybe after like the third match or something, he started laying down. So he ended up taking last, but fresh, he was definitely better than me. Hopefully he heals up in the next couple of months. I don't think it'll be a serious injury, but it's hard to say. And then I tied with Colton Kimbrough. He was one of my 2 wins. I beat him, and he beat Zach, and he beat Chance Holiday actually, and Chance fresh for fresh got a win on the 5th place guy. But the right hand was a lot of surprises. Like, I thought, I'll just be straight up honest. Like, I said Dusty'd win. I thought Dalton Duncan would take 2nd. I thought Hunter would take 3rd. And I thought that maybe Saidov would take 4th. Eli Saidov. After the left hand, that was my prediction. That's what I told people was my prediction. And it ended up being Hunter won. Dalton Duncan took 2nd. 3rd place was, I believe, Cody Wood. Okay, so there was a 4-way tie for 3rd between Cody Wood, Eli Saidov, Devin Bear, and Alex Koshadze, who Chance Holiday beat fresh. And the final standings were for 3rd through 6th were, now I'm trying to remember, it was Cody Wood, Eli Saidov, Koshadze took 5th, Devin Bear took 6th. But fresh, like earlier in the day, Devin went through Cody quickly. And this wasn't like early in the day, but it was like midway through. And then Devin beat Cody quickly earlier in the day, but Cody had already had he gave Hunter a hard match. So he'd already had that match. And I don't know who won between Cody or Devin and Eli. I think Eli beat him. It was a war, I think, but I'm not positive. And I can't remember who won between Alex and Devin. And this guy from Florida, George Whitfield, he placed like 7th or 8th. I can't remember. It was him and Dusty for 7th and 8th, but they met pretty early on and had a war, and George beat him in a hook. So, like, in my opinion, fresh in a hook, George was the strongest one. But then he had a war with Eli Saidov, and Eli, I think, ended up beating him. And then he had another war with Devin Bear, and Devin beat him. And then I pulled him, and my arm was starting to hurt. And I'm like, well, I'll just see how his hand feels. and we went, and I took his, we're center, and then I took his hand, and I didn't want to slip because I figured in the straps he was just probably too strong, because he looked strong as hell. But he slipped. To be honest, he slipped on purpose, but the ref strapped it. They were doing that a lot, not calling the intentional ones. But and then the straps, I surprised him in top rolled, even though my brachioradialis was hurting at that point. Like, surprised. Like, fresh, he'd beat me for sure, but I was still super surprised. And then even after that loss to me, he lost to Cody Wood, but he made Cody work harder than I did, and Cody got third. So, like, I'm not saying I'm close to these guys, but it's funny how round robins work. And it made me feel pretty good about myself, even though I know I'm not at the level of these guys. It's still a good win for me, regardless of the circumstances. And then I also beat Colton Kimbrough, who, yeah, and then Colton, my other match where I thought I had a chance, only because he was tired, was Eli had a war with Devin, and then even Colton held him for 10 to 15 seconds, 5 minutes before I pulled him, and that felt great, but I tried to go through Eli's hand, and I couldn't. I stopped him for maybe a second or two. I should have went just high hook, which I wanted to do, but someone told me to roll him. But it might not have worked anyway. Obviously, if I had beat him, it was only because he was tired, so. I got slammed a lot of times, so Zach Lee slammed me, Dusty slammed me. Dusty felt strong to me. I don't know. I think partially he just got in wars, but also he didn't look himself. I know he's really disappointed with his performance, but, you know, stuff happens, and I believe that Dusty just didn't have his best day. But, you know, as stuff happens, it's arm wrestling. Anything can happen on any given day. Hunter looked really strong. Delton looked really strong. So Delton and Hunter actually tied at the end with 1 loss each. Hunter only lost to Eli, I believe. I believe Eli top rolled him. And Delton only lost to Hunter, so they pulled in the finals for best 2 of the 3. And Hunter beat him pretty fast both times to win the whole thing. But like, Hunter was definitely the best guy there, but like, for sure he wasn't like way above everybody, because Fresh for Fresh Bear gave him hell, and Cody gave him a hard match, Fresh too. So like, for sure Hunter was the best, but for sure, like, it was close between a few guys. There were a few guys that had a chance to win, but that's about it. So given my right, it's not that good to get 2 wins. I was pretty happy with that. Left, you know, not what I wanted, not up to my power, but there were my expectations, but still, you know, just gotta keep training and get better. So that's about it. So thanks for anyone to watch this whole thing, and yeah.